Bahamut is a villain, Pez? Yep. Yes, he is, my little chipolata. Yes, he is. Welcome back to another theory video. Whew, I've missed these. So yes, I am going to point the finger and try to incriminate the Dragon King himself, our righteous hero who, spoiler alert, this is a spoiler video, who aided Noctis in destroying Ifrit and saving the world. All praise Bahamut! Or should we? This is going to be a two-parter video. The second part is going to get really crazy, so treat this like a little tee-up, but it's still going to be mind-blowing nonetheless, because it was during FF15 Comrades, while I was stood there in the loading queues and the servers crashing and bugging and glitching out, and I was forced to stare at the rock of Ravito. A hell of a lot of thoughts ran through my head. I started thinking, what exactly causes the starscourge? How does the days actually become darker? And why is it so rapidly accelerated as we're in this 10 years? Because the demon scourge, it's been infecting Eos for thousands of years. It wiped out the ancient Solheim empire. So why is it only just now that things are going to get so much darker, so much quicker? But to do this, I'm going to have to go back to the roots of where the starscourge came from, and this is going to be really important for the next two videos. So a lot of this is theory still, none of it's been actually confirmed by Square Enix, but there's so much evidence and so much supporting evidence has come out after these theories were made about the theory of Ifrit and Eos. Now, for anyone who hasn't seen this, I'm going to do my best to try to explain this in under 20 seconds. Here I go. The people of Solheim were based on the Aztecs, and as such they were sun worshippers, or in the case of FF15, worshippers of Eos, goddess of the dawn, but also like the Aztecs, they were obsessed with the idea of immortality and eternal life. Eos at this point was imprisoned by some of the other Astrals for a crime we don't yet know about, but a strong guess is she was pregnant with Immortal's twins, hence the Genji gloves, children who possibly went on to form the original lines of Lucis. Pitioss was infested, however, with a parasitic moth drawn to Eos's waning light and infected her with the scourge. Ifrit, for whatever motivation, be it love or rebellion towards the other Astrals, broke Eos out and burned her corpse at the Rock of Ravito, which gained him the nickname Pyre Burner, but Bahamut, like a douchebag, killed Ifrit for presumably extracting her, and then he himself extracted what is either the heart or womb of Eos, aka the source of all light, and charged the protection of it to the only ones who could, the Aleutians, being the immortal flame. However, Ifrit's body continues to burn until this day, and in turn so does Eos's infected body, releasing a constant stream of starscourginess into the air. Oh! How did I do? I'm pretty sure that wasn't 20 seconds. Was half of that even coherent? Well, I hope so, because that's going to be the really quick breakdown of it. So who do we blame for it? Who started it? Now, we've always been told that Ifrit, he's the betrayer, he's the bad guy. Bahamut told Noctis that Arden, he's the bad guy. But the thing is, I've never wanted to believe someone, just when they tell you that they're the bad guy, just believe them outright. Why should I believe you, Bahamut? I've played Final Fantasy long enough. I know in more iterations you've been a douchebag more than you've been a good guy. So I'm going to instantly call him out and question some of his actions in all of this. Now, just to be clear, this isn't some video where I'm going to come out and try to make Arden out to be the hero or Ifrit to be the hero. I mean, they both once were. I mean, Arden definitely, canonically, he was deemed the saviour of Lucis, or dubbed, should I say. Whereas Ifrit, by theory margin, I think he was the unintentional hero because of him saving Eos, and all the evidence points towards the crystal being either her heart, or as creepy as it sounds, her womb, the source of all life, the source of the dawn itself. I mean, there is a dawn goddess in this game. A lot of people think that Eos got cut. She didn't actually get cut, she is still referred to this day. Even in the Ultimania, the way they described oracles is the healing is the oracle calling upon the powers of Eos to cleanse the scourge. That's literally what it says. So Eos is still relevant, she is a canonical goddess in this game, despite what some people think. And how could the dawn goddess not in some way be connected to a crystal that has the power of the dawn and at the end of the game restores the dawn? So Ifrit and Arden, in my eyes, they were once heroes who have now gone down a dark path. They've killed way too many people and brought the world to the brink of destruction, that they are now villains, both of them. But the interesting thing is, I think there's been sort of a juxtaposition flip. Sort of as Arden and Ifrit went from heroes to villains, I actually think that the Astrals went from villains to heroes. Or perhaps some weird mix of the two. Again, I do think that the term, nothing is either good or evil, only thinking makes it so, really still implies when you get to the nitty-gritty details of FF15. But getting back on track and just laying a little bit more groundwork, so the starscourge is nothing new, it's been there since the dawn of the Astral War. That was when it first entered the atmosphere. And just breaking down the science. Scooby-Doo-Bop, 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 So understanding the science of the starscourge is really key, and there is a scientific explanation to really try to understand why things get so much darker so much quicker when it's been happening for thousands of years, or this scourge has been around that long. So just go to the definition of the starscourge given to us in a load screen. A plague that afflicted the denizens of Eos since antiquity. The plasmodia responsible for the contagion mutated from insect-borne malarial parasites, again those butterfly things that we only rarely ever saw down in Pitioss. I do believe that we do see butterfly-like creatures on the surface, so not to say they don't exist up on the surface, but we do specifically see them in Pitioss. But the fact that Pitioss, it was all a symbolic story being told. The way they had Ifrit statues laying around, the reason they put those butterflies in there, the reason why they call it Pitioss, Pit of Eos, and just the way that the black goo is trailing from the entrance. It's so clear they were trying to tell a story, and that story was this is where the starscourge first originated from. So yeah, malarial parasites that had incubated within human hosts. If we go a bit further to actually how it gets dark, an appellation of organisms infected by a mutant strain of Plasmodium malariae. Once introduced into a body, the photophobic parasites exert full control, rapidly distorting physiology and manipulating behaviour so as to render their hosts' original forms virtually indiscernible, while also dispersing a light-absorbing miasma. So we're one step closer to the science, and this miasma, it covers the ozone layer. So shifting on to the next, the presence of soot-like photophilic particles, so again those demon particles, was confirmed in samples of air taken at varying elevations with notably higher concentrations at higher altitudes, and have begun to subsume the ozone layer, and the observed reduction of daylight on Eos can be attributed primarily to their light absorbing properties. So the demons are releasing a miasma, they're exuding a gas, a smoke of some sort. And now we flip over to Rock of Ravito, where there's a giant billow of smoke. It's kind of like a Kingdom Hearts situation. Okay, the more Heartless you kill, the more you're fucking up the situation, because it says, we have discovered a clear causal relationship. They talk about the darkness, given the mass dispersal of photophilic particles upon death. The demon presence is likely accountable for the violent ecological shifts of late. So it's the dispersal of these photophilic particles upon death, and this really makes sense because when you kill a demon in FF15, they die in two ways: dispersing into a cloud of smoke that you presumably would go up into the air, or they kind of dissolve into the ground, where you guess it would taint the soil. Now, where have I heard this before? Like a flash it hit me. Episode Dust Sky, the Genesis prophecy makes a load more sense now, where it said, rotted soil, under blighted sky, a dread plague the wicked has wrought. Whew. So that's the science of the starscourge. The only way the days can get darker is if demons get killed and their plasmodia gets dispersed up into the sky. And that is a really harrowing detail. No one actually knew. This is the crazy thing. Despite the fact that the starscourge has been infecting Eos for thousands of years, it doesn't seem like mankind has learned a thing. Or at least not until recently. The Nifs are starting to catch on, but it's just too late for them. I mean, just prior to FF15, they were actually calling it a vanishing disease. And they called it that because they didn't know what was causing it. People were just disappearing and their clothes were left behind, kind of like how Gladiolus' cloak. I mean, it kind of is a bit weird how Ravus, he is so clearly a human turned into a demon. There must have been no kind of half human, half demon before Ravus. I mean, that makes it so obvious that that is a human / demon.
The Empire made considerable inroads into the science of demons.
Not even Noctis had a clue. No one had a clue what this was. Hence they called it a vanishing disease. Hence when Arden, like a motherfucking savage, dropped the bombshell on Noctis that he had been killing humans.
Once upon a time, they were children of nature, beasts and men. And you've killed so many.
And what this means, ladies and gentle peasants, is it is this ignorance that is causing the days to get darker, because for every demon that we kill, it's contributing towards making the days darker. And that's going to be the harrowing thing about FF15 comrades, is not only are we going to be killing ex-humans, we're also going to be contributing to making the days darker. Now that all these glaive and hunters and Crownsguard are gathering up and we're going on these missions to kill demons, Or in all of FF15 where we were given quests to go kill X number of demons, the whole while we didn't realise we were making things worse. If we just didn't kill the demons, their miasma wouldn't be able to be released, it wouldn't be able to pollute the land, darken the skies. Maybe if mankind had just walled itself off from the demons, it didn't kill any of them, then potentially that would have been a better route. Now what else caused it? There's a lot of factors. So the fact that Luna's been dead, the last of the world's oracles is now gone, she didn't have any children. Now I don't really know how many people's foreheads Luna was able to press hers against in a single day, but I'm pretty sure she was contributing to keeping the Star Scourge somewhat contained. I mean, it's highly plausible even that the ritual that we didn't really see in the final game, but we kind of heard about it before the game came out, that the Oracle used to perform a ceremony, ritual every year, decade, or century, I can't remember which one it was, but this was to commune with the gods, connect with them, and let mankind's will be known unto the gods, and vice versa. So I'm also sure that was some sort of contributing factor in keeping the demon scourge under control, but we have to factor in possibly the biggest, most auspicious of factors for the demon scourge, and that is Arden Izuna himself. I mean, sure, iron giants pop out of the ground at very convenient times. That would seem like they suit Arden more than anyone, but I mean, there's no reason to say he can't actually summon. But can Arden actually create demons himself? Well, I don't think so, because that would go against the science. This fleshed out scientific explanation of the scourge, of how the parasite is incubated in a human host, and then there's a transforming phase and a vanishing phase where the clothes disappear. I don't think that Arden can bypass all of that. Basically what I'm saying is he ain't like the Lich King from World of fucking Warcraft. Though I actually suppose he is, because the Lich King in WoW actually does need a human host to bring back from the dead. And I think that's kind of what Arden's like. He can spread the scourge and he can infect people because he himself is the source of the Star Scourge at this point, hence why he gets defeated at the end. This Plasmodium miasma instantly clears and the dawn rises. So Arden, he himself at this point is the source of the Star Scourge, but that's the thing, he's been defeated at the end. But I'm really wondering, guys, what the hell happens at the end of 15? Sure, the demons are gone and the dawn has returned, but only one of the two origins of the Star Scourge are gone. Arden is gone, but what about the Rock of Ravito? That thing is still burning. That thing is still smouldering, presumably. It's highly possible that after Noctis destroyed Ifrit, that his immortal corpse in turn then stopped burning, but certainly one to pay attention to, because I mean that could end up being some 15-2 sequel shit if they don't fix that, or mankind doesn't all kind of rally together just to put some giant blanket over it. Mankind needs a tarp. They need a tarp over that. It's not the hero they want, but it's the hero they need. Final Fantasy 15-2, Legend of the Tarp. Make it happen, Square. But alas, now we have the full light of day shining on what the Star Scourge is, how it's created, where it comes from, and I've narrowed it down to two places: Eos burning on the Rock of Ravito and Arden Izuna. Who created both of these? The answer, my peasants, Bahamut. He is responsible in both cases, completely, outrightly, without question. It was by Bahamut's sword that Ifrit was slain and Eos's body was burned, and that's the thing, we always thought that he was the person who burned Eos's corpse, and that's why he got called the Pyre Burner. That's not the case. It was Bahamut who literally turned Ifrit into the pyre that is burning. Do you see the difference, guys? We always did say it was kind of strange why Ifrit would burn Eos and then burn himself in his grief. I mean, it seemed a bit extreme, but it was kind of plausible back then. But episode Gladiolus confirmed it was by Bahamut's hand that Ifrit was slain, and therefore by Bahamut's hand that the Star Scourge was released on mankind. Okay, so he started it, but he's trying to fix it. Give the guy a fucking break. Okay, I'll concede. Perhaps Bahamut did take responsibility. Perhaps he inadvertently caused this catastrophic thing to happen, and that's why he was the one who formed the line of Lucians. It was by Bahamut's power that the Oracle was given her trident. The game states it was Bahamut, and we even saw a picture of it. He's the one who hands the crystal to the first king. He's the one who forms the ring and gives it to the king. So yeah, it really looks like he's trying to make amends, but I'm afraid not. Bahamut made one other fatal error before that. And why there will be no quarter in this investigation, and why I deem Bahamut guilty. After screwing up the first time, he goes and does something even more reckless. He gives a man a gift to absorb the scourge of demons into his body, but like an idiot, and how did Bahamut not realise it? He made that same man an immortal. What was he thinking? And of course, this is what causes the entire game. This is what creates Arden Izunia. Bahamut made Arden. He absorbed so much of the starscourge. He spent hundreds of years performing in his role as a healer, and when it inevitably then infected him, what does this self-righteous prick Bahamut then go and do? He turns his back on the guy he created to fix the mess that he made. Holy crap, Bahamut is nothing shy of a self-aggrandizing hypocrite. The most powerful Astral with all the power at his fingertips, he was the one who caused all of it. Now, again, how that got fixed, I think Shiva the humanitarian had to step in. She is the one who formed the florets, and she monitors them. She monitors them so they don't go astray. What they also do is they make it so the florets' bodies break down, and they die, hence avoiding the immortality curse and creating another Arden. Now, as for the Astrals, I'm certain that they played a role. In fact, like I said, I believe Titan? Titan was the jailer of Eos, which that incriminates him. To a certain degree, Leviathan, I'm purely theorising and speculating here, I believe that because she is the Astral who has the most disdain for mankind, I believe that Eos had humans with a mortal, and Leviathan would have been disgusted by that. And these are all the stories I wish was explained in Final Fantasy 15. It could have been a masterpiece if they'd have put this entire layer and web into the game. Because this is a depth of storytelling that, if told correctly, and I can't even explain it in full detail in this video, that would have taken Final Fantasy 15 to a whole other level. To have shown the position of Ifrit flipping from hero to villain, and vice versa with the other Astrals, and with Bahamut in particular. It would have been so defining of Bahamut's character, because he's always had, throughout the FF series, two main juxtaposition personas. One as the righteous leader, or two, the destructive tyrant. My theory is that Bahamut, he was the latter back in the old days, the days of the Astral War. He was that destructive tyrant when he was younger, a less wise god full of the ego that we've seen in Bahamut throughout the FF series. And I do believe that things like Talpa Crag shows that. Where this entire crag was formed from Bahamut's sword swing is to show his power, how his actions can come with terrible and devastating effects. I believe as the leader of the Astrals, he would have had the definitive say on Eos's fate. I believe that when Ifrit defied Bahamut's decision to imprison Eos, that it kicked his ego real bad. This is the true dark side and face of the Bahamut Dragon King that we all know. And in being defied, he went out and he recklessly killed Ifrit without any thought towards the destructive power that we have seen in the game can be in Astral's corpse. And after his recklessness, after he released the Starscourge, he went and made even bigger blunders. And that is what the Dragon King does, people, and that is why in my books I deem you guilty, Bahamut. You damn Dinkelberg, it's your fault, you're responsible. I don't care if you meant to or not. My tinfoil hat is melted, legs are weak, palms are sweaty, Bahamut spaghetti. There it is, guys, that's the theory. Oh. And let me tell you, people, the next part is going to be even better. So if you like this video, leave me a comment in the comment section below. Hit the like button. If you really want to go the extra step further, you know, I've got a Patreon account. Patreon, we give away free gifts. You could win something. Please give me the monies. Nothing like a bit of virtual begging. But most importantly, hit the subscribe button and ensure you've got bell notifications on if you want to know when the next part of this theory video lands. But there it is. Until the next video. Shun Bahamut! Ladies and gentle peasants. Shun! Be sure you don't miss it. Boo! God damn, I love doing theory videos. Kupo!